Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Thanks for being here, guys. My name is Kyle. I'm with Bussin' Bethunes, and today is my 40th birthday. This is not a celebration video. This is not a video to be told by everyone happy birthday, and that'd be lovely if you did. I won't be mad if you did. This video, it's about reflecting, a little reflection. What it's like to be 40, what it was like to get here, and where I'm headed, or where I want to head. And I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys are joining me. We're going to walk around where, if you can tell, maybe you can tell, maybe you can't. We're Lake Louisa State Park. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Florida State Park. Just a few short miles from where we're staying right now, Lake Louisa State Park. Named after the lake that you probably can't see at this moment, but is a couple of 100 yards in that direction. My plan for this video is to end up there, and hopefully I can spread a little wisdom, and if not, hopefully I can. You'll stick around to the end, and I would appreciate that, guys. But yeah, thanks for being here and clicking on this video. Your support means the world to me, and I'm using this mic, so if you see me holding something, it is a bit windy today. Our cold front is on its way. We have gotten some rain, so I want to make sure I'm protected. You see the dead cat tail there, so hopefully that will allow me to have some fairly crisp audio. You know, I wanted to start this video off with some wisdom. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that or not. I don't know that I have any true wisdom to share. All I can share is what I know, what I feel here, mostly. You know, I try to, as I've shared a few times, when I make videos of any sort, I try to share what I have from here. And the first thing I kind of want to touch on is time. You know, 40 years. It's a long time. You know, that's nearly half a century. Growing up, I didn't really think about age. It's not something, you know, that just naturally came to my thought process a lot. I guess I never really considered what it was going to be like to turn 40 years old. I probably never considered what it was going to be like to turn the next year older that I was at that time. So to say that is not a huge thing because it's just not the way I thought. But I can tell you one thing that has definitely taken hold or taken apart, or something I'm realizing. And Jen has been saying it for a long time. The days are long, but the years are short. And that is real. That is a real thing. And I always heard growing up, people would always say, yeah, the older you get, the faster time moves. And they're not wrong. They're not lying. They're not wrong. You know, we're all have an expiration date. We all have a time we're born, and we all have a time that we depart this life. And everything in between is what we make of it. The biggest thing with time is I don't believe in wasting it. I live this life. I try to live a very intentional life. I try to live a life full of adventure. I try to seek out my curiosities. I try to see the world for the way it is. And I try to show compassion and love for people. This is new for me. This is not the Kyle that always was. This is something, you know, I had a comment yesterday, a lady, or pretty sure it was a lady. I don't want to assume, but I'm pretty confident it was a lady. Kind of called me out on some stuff. How do I want to word this? You know, from my previous life. Whether she still sees me that way or not, I don't know. That's up for her to decide. And it made me reflect a lot on where I came from and what the Kyle, the person that I used to be. And I honestly, just to be blunt and 100% honest with you, I don't like that person. I wouldn't even hang out with that person today. I don't know if that's healthy to say, but honestly, that's my truth. And time has been something that has allowed me to shape myself into who I am now. And I'm proud of that. That's the single hardest journey of my life, has been turning and transforming into who I was meant to be. I can't think of anything that even comes close, honestly. And I guess to bounce off of the time a little bit, life looks a little different, or actually quite a bit different than I imagined it looking at this point in my life. 40 years old, half, you know, middle age. I don't know if this is considered middle age. I really, you know, I guess I look at middle aged, I'll live to 80 years old, and that would be great. I mean, I hope to live as long as I'm long as I'm supposed to, and as long as I can. But life does look very different than I thought it would. You know, again, I don't know. I was never one of those people that put a ton of thought and stock into that growing up, I guess would be the best way to say it. But I don't know. You know, you wake up one day, it's very cliche to say that, and you're 40. Yeah. There's a lot in between, you know, day one and day whatever, 40 years of days is. We all ultimately shape our lives with the decisions we make, the paths we take. But I can tell you one thing that has helped me is stop comparing my timeline, my life, with everyone else's. Everyone's life moves at different paces. Everyone is in a different place. No one, it's like art. There's no two pieces alike. There's not a carbon copy in this whole life thing. We all are at different stages at different times. And that's hard to accept. I think that's something, I'm speaking for myself here as a man, that's tough to accept. You know, you see your friends doing something, you see people you know, competitors, clients, colleagues, well, whatever, anyone. And we get caught up in this comparison game. And I think it's detrimental to ourselves to do that. Comparison is the thief of joy. Jen tells me that one a lot. Because, you know, being in the social media, content creator world, you see a lot. You see a lot of different things. You see a lot of different creators. You see a lot of different levels of success. And everybody gets there differently. Everybody gets there on their own. Everybody gets there in their own way. And everybody does things their own way. And everybody has their own path. I mean, I guess ultimately that's it. That's life. It's a path. It's a journey. And everyone's looks different. And that's okay. And I think that's a big lesson that I've had to learn. You know, mine's going to look different than yours. Yours is going to look different than your buddies or your mom's or your dad's. Everyone is set out on this earth to do something different. We all have something that the world needs. And it's up to us to find it, number one. That's easier said than done. That is really hard. And at 40, still, a pretty good idea where I want to be and what I'm looking for, but still yet to find it. And I use that word success. This is a big one for me. This one has taken me all 40 years to learn. Success looks different for everyone. It can mean 100 different things to 100 different people. It absolutely is an individual, personal thing. Some people think success means money. Success means status. And I thought that's what success was. I thought that was the only definition or meaning of success, was the job, the money, the status, the toys, the belongings, the house, the car. In my case now, the bus, you know, the RV. The list is endless. And I think that's the thing. If you consider that true success, if you consider that your success, I don't know that you'll ever find it. I've had a lot of money in my life. I've had more money than I will ever see again. But I was the most miserable in my entire life when I had the most money that I've ever had. I currently am the poorest, every monetary way, societal, traditional success way that I've ever been. But I'm also the happiest that I've ever been. So I believe I might have found it, or at least I'm on the path. Money will not buy you happiness. Money will not buy you anything other than a distraction. I think real success in life looks like contentment. I think it looks like love from your family, your friends, love from the people around you. You know, do you bring people joy? Do you hurt people? You know, I find a lot of contentment and success in knowing that I treat people across the board the same way. From the CEO to the janitor, I'm going to treat you the same way. And I pride myself in that. I don't want to ever make anyone feel less than, ever, for whatever the reason may be. I find success in being content with what I have. I have less now, monetarily, possession-wise, investment-wise. In every material way, I have less now than I've ever had in my entire adult life. I mean, by far. And I'm happy. I'm happy with where I am. I'm content with the things that I do have. It's a beautiful thing. That one is tough for me. And there's days that it gets me. There's days that I see a new RV or I see a cool bus. I'm like, man, I wish I could have that. I want that. How did those? I'm jealous. You know, jealousy is a nasty, seedy, gross emotion. And it creeps in sometimes. It does, especially on YouTube. You know, it's a very lonely, independent journey. You know, you do the creating majorly yourself. You know, you post yourself. You answer comments. You interact with your community mostly as yourself. So when you look out in the world and you see other creators getting more views, getting more subscribers, getting more love, and you find yourself kind of stuck. You know, like, okay, I deserve that. Why can't I get that? How do they deserve that? My video is better than theirs. Why do they get it and I don't? It's very easily slip into that. I've done it. Absolutely 100% have done that. And it sucks. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not helpful. And most of all, it's just wrong. You know, my day is going to come. when it's time. I'm working every day to grow this channel to what I want it to be. That's all I can do. It is 100% in my hands. No one else is responsible for my success or lack thereof. It's on me. And I have to do that. And for me to get jealous for someone else for having some success, I mean, when you say it out loud, it just sounds absolutely ridiculous. I stopped caring about people's opinions of me. That one's hard. Growing up in the generation that I did, and I mean, I'm pretty much sure that could be said for any generation. We all try to, there's this standard in society that we're told we have to uphold. It's just, yep, you got to check all the boxes. You got to do all these things. You got to do it this way. You got to look a certain way. You got to talk a certain way. You have to dress a certain way. You have to, you guys know, I don't have to list everything off. It's a very real thing. I think we're all seeking validation. I think we all want to feel valid. We all want to feel seen. Society, you have to check these boxes. You have to get the job. You have to have the car. You have to have the kids in every possible activity to fill every single second of their day. That's what we're told we have to do. That's what we're told is success. That's what we're told the right way to live is. None of us have anything to prove. I used to, quick little story. When I left here 2 years ago, Florida, Florida 2 years ago, I was doing an every other day vlog. And I said, when I come back in 2 years, I knew it would probably be 2 years or a year and a half, whatever it was, that I was going to be successful on YouTube. I was going to finally figure it all out. The stars were going to align and I was going to be a success. I was going to be making money. I was going to be a full-time YouTube creator and living the dream. And spoiler alert, that didn't exactly go as planned. And it was never going to. Ultimately, like I just said a minute ago, I'm in charge of that. I'm the one that has to make that happen. I have to stay consistent. I have to show up. I have to make good, engaging content. I felt like I had something to prove. I don't know what. And to who, I have no idea. But for some reason, I did feel like I had something to prove. I think it's kind of how we are trained in our society. If we, it's kind of like I've seen it in movies for, if you don't do this, don't bother coming back home kind of thing. If you don't achieve this, then yeah, don't bother coming back. And it's easy to fall for that. It's easy to get in that mindset. It's easy to buy into that. And I'm here to tell you, it is all complete and utter crap. Me and Jen talk about this a lot. The older I get, the more we grow spiritually, mentally, the smaller our circle gets. And that's real for me. Like, I'm kind of in that now, Molly's like, why are you hanging out with this person? Why aren't you hanging out with this person? She's very much at that age where popularity is a big deal to her. It's something she really cares a lot about. So she's like, she always is like, why aren't you guys at this fire? Why aren't you guys at this fire? Me and Jen like our peace. We really value our peace. We honestly, truly value our time together, our time alone. We don't feel like we have to have 100 friends and we have to be texting people every single day. I don't reach out and ask people for advice. I think we're just at a very unique place in our lives. And Jen is my best friend. Ultimately, we rely on each other. We're good friends. We hang out. We spend pretty much every waking hour together. Wow, that's a good shot right there. It is so pretty down here. Florida beauty is so unique. It really is. There's nowhere else like it. I mean, not that I've ever laid eyes on. It is such a unique place. Yes, for me, the popularity thing, I don't crave it. I don't crave a huge circle of friends. I greatly value quality over quantity at this point in my life. I would rather have a couple of really good, loyal, die-hard, ride or die friends than this massive circle that I don't really know any one of them. Molly's at that stage. I'm sure at some point in my life, I was there. I'm sure we all were. I think naturally society projects onto us that popularity is this great grand thing, and we all should seek it, and we all should have tons of friends and have all of these great amazing things and huge circles of friends. And when you have a birthday, hundreds of, that sort of thing. When you have a wedding, thousands of people show up. And I'm exaggerating, obviously, but for me at this point in my life, I don't want it. I genuinely don't want it. I am as content laying in bed with Jen at night, watching YouTube, some trivia, one of our favorite creators, and just relaxing, enjoying each other's company, genuinely enjoying her company. The kids will come in and sit with us, and we'll talk for a long time sometimes. I value that so much more than making every campfire, than making every night out with the boys. I don't need it. I don't want it. I think it's important for us all, or at least it was for me, to realize, everyone is trying to figure it out. I feel like most people are doing their best. Everyone's best looks different, and even more challenging than that, everyone's best looks different on different days. I've had to build compassion, learn compassion. What is it? What is it? What am I going to do with it? What is, why do I need that? It was something I just naturally did not come to me. Empathy for other people, understanding people are right where they are. Understanding everyone is scared. Everyone is trying. Everyone is falling flat on their face and getting back up time and time again. And understanding that and seeing that is compassion. That is empathy. Understanding, being able to empathize with another human being is really hard. Or for me, it was really hard. I think we get caught up so much in our own lives and our own egos that we forget, we dehumanize, especially in today's culture and today's society. And this is one of those things that I feel like hits home now more than ever. Some compassion in this world right now would go a really long way. There's a lot of people hurting. There's a lot of people suffering. There's a lot of people being put in situations and in tough circumstances that I don't feel like any American, or for more than that, any human being should have to be put in. And some compassion, some empathy it could go a long way in someone's life right now, because you just don't know. You don't know where they are. You don't know that they just fall on their face. Everyone is where they are at different times. I've learned that. No one. It was a good comparison for me. I tend to lean to a lot of sports analogies. Growing up, I loved baseball. I played baseball a lot. It was just, I loved playing. I was really good at it. I got really good at it because that's pretty much all I did. And I became a teenager and I quit. I let certain things enter my life, and I had burnout. The list is a mile long, but in saying that, when we had Ben, I was so excited that he took to baseball really quick, and I was like, yes. And he was good, even at T-ball, you could tell he just had a natural. He was just natural at it. He understood it. He grabbed it, and I was good. I was a good player, and I had a pretty good idea of coaching. But I pushed him so hard when he was young. I had him in travel ball when he was 7 years old, which was so stupid. It was everything I said I wouldn't do, and I basically burnt him out. And I was terrible at seeing where he was, seeing him. He wanted to impress his dad. He wanted to make me happy and proud. And I was, looking back now, I was really hard on him, I had a hard time seeing him for where he was. He was a kid. He just wanted to play. He didn't care about the MLB. He didn't care about going to college. He just wanted to make his dad proud, and his mom too, and play and have fun. That sucks, that I let that happen, or I allowed that to happen. Understanding where he was and seeing where he was in life would have been very valuable. He probably would still be playing, and who knows? It doesn't matter. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. The point I'm trying to make is seeing people for where they are in that moment, at that point in their life. He was 7 years old. He wasn't 15, 16, about to go to high school. Or he wasn't 17 years old about to go, am I going to college, or am I going to get a job? He was 7 years old, and I was pushing him like he was dang near ready to take a field at Yankee Stadium. So, that's something I've got to live with, and I'm sure at one point in his life I want to have a talk with him and just apologize and own that and apologize to him, because it sucked. That was a crappy thing that I did. And here's the thing is I didn't even know I was doing it. I thought I was doing what was best for him. And I've had to work hard to not be that parent, to not be that dad again. And I hopefully, you know, he doesn't make that same mistake with his kids. You know, our bodies demand respect. Our bodies demand us to pay attention to them, especially when you approach 40 years old. I never believed it. I never believed that my body, I would not have the abilities that I've always had. I never believed that I would need the rest that I'm needing right now. This is happening to me in the moment. As, I mean, if you watch my videos, you know I'm struggling a little bit with something physically right now. And you know, a few months ago, I made the decision to take better care of myself. A long overdue realization and decision, but I knew it was time. I knew for my mental health, at the time was most priority, mental health for sure, and it still is. But physically, I have to take care of myself if I want to live a long, prosperous life. If I want to, there's no guarantee that I will anyway, but if I want to give myself the best chance to do that, I've got to take care of this body that I was given while I have it, or I'll lose it. You know, I guess it could be as blunt as that, you know, and it's so funny that I am literally going through this right now, and it's scary, you know. I'm 40 years old, and you know, Adam was 51, you know, it's not too far down the road for me. It's another short part of the dash to get there, and I'm really committed at this point to take care of myself mentally and physically, and both of them work together because they do. You can't have one without the other. You can, or I can't. I don't want to. I shouldn't. I don't want to use that. I know I can't. For me, they both work together, and without one, the other doesn't exist. And without both of them, neither one of them is really going to work very well. I'm going to start winding it down with this one. I didn't come back here this year, 2025, the end of 2025, the great YouTube success I thought it was. I didn't. I really didn't. And I thought about it, you know, it's something I've thought about coming back here on the drive down. It's like, you know, this isn't, it's not what I planned. It's not what I wanted. But you know what? It's never too late to get to your dreams. It's never too late to quit, to start pursuing your dreams. You know, Sam Walton, founder of Walmart, did not find real true success till he was much older in life. Colonel Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken guy, was 65 years old. You know, there's no expiration date on chasing your dreams. I am a firm believer in that. If you have a goal and you have a dream in life, you got to go for it. It's a tragedy if you don't. I truly believe it's a tragedy you don't. You got to put society aside. I think Jim Carrey once said, or I'm pretty sure I'm quoting the right guy. He said, if you can't, well, I'm going to word it wrong, but hopefully I can get the same point across. If you can't put your life, he didn't say on hold, but if you can't sacrifice some comfort, some challenge for a couple of years to build and pursue your dreams and the life that you truly want, the life you want to wake up to every single day. If you can't do that for 2 years, you really didn't want it anyway. So I live with that with this daily vlog because this is what I want to do. This is what I want to spend the rest of my working life doing. I feel like I have a purpose in this world, and I feel like the purpose is to be out in the world exploring. I don't believe I'll ever plant roots completely again. I believe I'm supposed to be on the go. I'm supposed to be exploring. I think I'm supposed to be taking you with me. I don't know what that exactly looks like yet. I'm still in the midst of figuring that out. But that is what I want to do. You know, I said that 4 weeks ago when I started this daily vlog, and I'm still saying it today, and I'm not going to stop saying it. This is what I want to do. I'm putting it out in this vast universe that we all, Mother Earth, that we all get to live and exist and prosper and enjoy. I want to do this full time for the rest of my working life. However long it is, I'm going to push for it. I'm going to go for it. I'm at 40 years old, and I'm starting over, basically. I started 4 weeks ago. I am basically starting over. It's going to be hard. I think that's the thing is I'm really focusing for myself is focusing on the day-to-day, doing it one day at a time. Because if I focus on, I need this many views to pay this bill, or I need to make this amount of money to live, I'm going to get frustrated and I'm going to quit. Because I've done that for 5 years, guys. I've done that crap for 5 years. Oh, this isn't enough. I got to get this many views to make this amount of money so I don't have to go do this. Yeah, I'm going to have to work odd jobs. I'm going to have to run the boutique. You know, it takes a lot to live in our society. It costs a fortune. And unfortunately, that's just where we are. And it doesn't seem to be getting any better anytime soon. But I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm willing to give it the best shot I've ever given it. And I feel like I'm doing that. And if I can continue to do that every day, if I can show up every single day and give it my best shot. Again, I like to preface this. There's going to be days I fall well short. I've showed up every day for the last 4 weeks, 4+ weeks now. I'm very proud of that. I'm very grateful that I've been able to do that. There's a few more thousand times I'm going to have to show up though. And I know that. And there's going to be days that I don't want to. There's going to be days that I just flat don't want to touch this stupid camera. I've had to realize I can't chase everything. I've got to chase what matters and what matters to me and what matters to my purpose in this world. Jen has been my rock through all of this. She is a lot of the things I'm realizing now, she's been telling me for years. I just haven't listened, you know, and I think that's the way most of us are. We kind of got to experience, and it's got to be the right time for us to be able to absorb it and to put it to practice. But she's there, and she shows up for me every day, and I am eternally grateful for her. The bond we have, the friendship we have, the partnership, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And with her by my side, I'm pretty sure I can do this. I'm honestly not even afraid of it anymore. I know I'm going to do it. Don't know how. I wish I could write it out for you in a... write it out for you on paper or in text or even just give you words, but I don't know how that's going to work yet exactly, but I know I'm going to do it, and I'm worthy of it, and you are too. If there's something you want to do in this life, don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody tell you it's too late, because it's never too late. If you never do anything, nothing's ever going to happen to you. You don't give yourself the chance for something to happen. It's just never going to happen. Get out there and do it. Get out there and try it. Or as Yoda says, there is no try. There's do or do not. I wish I had a Yoda voice, but I don't. I don't have life figured out yet. You know, I don't know that you ever actually do. I don't know that there's an age. I don't think there's a number that you get to that you do have it figured out. I don't believe that's a possibility. I don't think that's true. And I don't know that you'd actually even want that. Like, where's the journey in that? Where's the adventure in the known? It's all the journey, all the adventure, the fun, the unforgettable moments. They come in the unknown. They come in the times that you really have no idea. That's why we don't make a lot of plans. We're just out there. We crave adventure. We seek it. The unknown can be scary, though. That is for sure. While I might not have it figured out, I definitely feel like I have quite a bit better understanding than I once did. And I'm okay with that. If I could go back to myself 20 years ago, let's say 20 years ago, and give myself a piece of advice for all of this at 40 years old. Where was Kyle going to be in 40 years? And I think I would tell that guy, I'm going to give him a hug. I'm going to give him a hug for one, you know, because I had some rough stuff happen in my life. And I say be patient with yourself. I've always wanted everything, and I want it right now. But that's just the reality. That's not how anything works. Nothing worth having comes easy. And that's the truth. That's my truth, and I believe that's pretty much could be a lot of people's truths. You gotta have patience with yourself. You've gotta. I hear that owl. Hopefully, you hear that owl. God, I love owls. They're my favorite animal in the world. Honestly, I love them. They're just incredible creatures. They're beautiful. Have patience with yourself. You know, challenge yourself. Set goals. You know, that's all healthy. Healthy criticism is a good thing. But be patient. Don't beat yourself in the ground if it doesn't go the way you thought or go the way you planned, because it probably won't. You may as well save yourself that frustration, because likely it's not going to go the way you planned. So you got to have patience with yourself. Patience is a virtue, and that is something I did not understand 20 years ago, but I'm starting to make a little more sense now. And if you're older, it's never too late to start. You are where you are in this world. The best time to do it was 20 years ago, and the next best time is right now. Before I even started making YouTube videos, there's a creator named Sean Cannell, and something he said has stuck with me every video I ever make, every day. You got to just press record. You've got to press record. You've got to start, because if you start, you're already ahead of most of the competition. You got to just press record. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. 40 years, been here 40 years, my 40th trip around the sun. It's my, it feels good. I feel good at 40. I feel like I'm on the right path, finally, in my life. I feel like purpose is here. I've just got to harness it, mold it into what I want it to be. And I think I'm building something pretty beautiful over here. But thank you guys for being here. It more than ever, it means a lot to me. It really does. The hundreds of you that show up for every video, I don't really know how to explain how much that means to me. Finally, and I hope you guys don't get mad at me, because there was a time that I was, if I got this many views, I would have quit. But that's hundreds of people that watch these videos, not just numbers. There's people behind those numbers. It's taken me a long time to realize that. YouTube is taught, in a very numbers specific way. It's all about numbers. The money, numbers equal money. In YouTube world, and pretty much the business world in general, it's all pretty much the same. But I'm trying to do it differently this time. I'm realizing the numbers that are showing up every day is where it's at. You guys are the real deal. You guys are the MVPs. I just hold the camera and show you and tell you how I feel. You guys show up for me, and some of you watch videos I wouldn't even watch. and that means a lot. You mean a lot to me. The views you do give me mean a lot. The comments mean a lot. I think I'm building something pretty special here. And Rome wasn't built in a day. It took time. It took effort. It took failure. It took falling on your face. It took a lot. And in this channel, it's not going to be any different. But I do see you. I hear you out there. And I appreciate each and every one of you who watch these videos. I wish I could express into words how much it does mean to me. It keeps me coming back. It keeps me press and record. That's important, and especially when you're trying to do this every day. There's days that are just like, why am I doing this? And I have a reason. I have 900 to 1,000 people every day that watch my videos and show up for me every day, and that's cool. That's you put a good way to. I heard this years back. You put 1,000 people in a room. It's a lot of people, for a visual of it. When you see it on a screen, 1,000, even what's 10,000, 100,000, it's just a number. But when you visualize it as, you put 1,000 people in a ballroom, you put 1,000 people in a store, that's a lot of people. And those 1,000 people, 900, 800, whatever it is, the number is irrelevant, that you show up for me and you click on these videos and you choose to watch them. And you watch a lot of them. That's the good thing about YouTube. It shows me how much a lot of you guys are watching, and you guys are watching most of it. And that's real. That's the real deal right there. And I that must mean I mean more to you than just a click. It must mean I'm giving you something. You wouldn't keep coming back if I wasn't. And I appreciate that. I do. Yeah, guys, this get a little emotional. It's an emotional thing for me. I take YouTube very personal at this point in my life. It's because I know it's what I want to do. I feel like there's more to it for me than the previous 5 years. I think this journey is just getting started for me. And again, I preface this a lot, and I want to make sure I'm heard and understood, as I know I have a long way to go. I know, unfortunately, it takes real money to pay bills. And it takes a certain amount of views to make that real money, and I have to get there. But I don't want to sacrifice the money for the views, the views for the people, because you guys are why I'm showing up. This video, if it helped even 1 out of 1,000, that can't be bought. Money can't buy that. So that's why I'm here. Genuinely, these past 4 weeks are probably the first time I can say in my life, in my YouTube career, going on 6 years, that I'm here solely for you guys. That's it. This video, I won't make 1 cent off. I'm not monetized. Don't even know if I'm going to get monetized. I'm not making $1 off of this. And that's fine. That is okay. It's about the people. And if I can keep showing up, I think the rest will fall into place. At least that's what I'm going with. But guys, well, appreciate you being here. Happy 40th birthday. I am here. 40 years. Hopefully I got 40 more in me. I really hope I have at least 40 more. I mean, Dick Van Dyke, I just saw a video the other day. He's 100 years old and still living his life. And if I get to do that, great. But hopefully I can get another 40 out of these, 40 more miles out of, or 40 more years out of this life. Because there's a lot I'm excited to see the next 40 years through these lenses that I have now, because it's a lot different than it once was. Again, I'm not proud of the person I once was. I'm not happy with them, and I wouldn't hang out with them. But I'm pretty happy with the person I'm becoming. It's cool to be a person that it's cool to be proud of yourself. I've never really felt that before. I've never had that ability. But I think you guys have given me that. I think that's something YouTube has given me, getting to know some of you and talking to you and answering comments and hearing what you have to say. It's given me that. And to know that you will show up for me every day, that's given me that, and that's beautiful. But I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to stop jabbering, and we'll do this again tomorrow. Not this exact same thing. Probably a little lighter. Actually, no. Let me think. What's tomorrow? Yeah, I got a good one for you tomorrow. You're going to want to show up for that one. Yeah, it's going to be heavy too. Yeah. Got another one to do tomorrow, but it's going to be a field trip. I've been thinking about it for a while. I even reached out to feedback for you guys about it, but I'm doing it tomorrow. So excited about that. So make sure you show up for that, and we'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other, and be well. Take care of that body. Listen to your body. Rest, and just press record. If you have a dream and a goal in this life, you got to do it. You got to press start. You can always start over. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.